Hey everyone, back here for another match with our league deck, our Naya Blitz deck, whatever you want to call it. Here we have an interesting hand because we have five 1 mana spells in one land and then a 2 mana spell. Usually keeping one landers aren't great, but this deck, because every turn for the first 3 turns we're at least going to get to play one spell, it's good. And if we draw a second land at any point, it's very good being able to cast multiple spells. Or being able to cast the Gore Clan. So I'm going to keep it when they're on the play. Gives us an additional draw, but even on the play, I would probably keep this hand. Going to be fetching up Stomping Ground. So they go Mountain Swift Spear. Well, it looks like they're burn. I'm still going to need to fetch up a Stomping Ground because I need to be able to cast both types of spells no matter what. I'm actually going to bolt this to stop their pressure early on. The only way that turns out bad is if they go turn 2 Eidolon, I suppose. But I don't really want to play a creature and then for them to remove my creature and get through a lot of damage with Swift Spear, or for them to just be able to just get any amount of damage with the Swift Spear if possible. There's a Killing Fiend, okay. Bit different of a deck than I was thinking. I thought it'd be more like traditional red, white, or Boros or Naya burn. I'm going to play. I'm gonna play an experiment one here because we can grow it by playing our other cards. Like I said, at any time, drawing a second land is huge. Just being able to deploy multiple creatures. Another Swift Spear. This deck can do some very explosive amounts of damages early on with Killing Fiend. Unfortunately, we can't remove it. Ooh. Rancor doesn't really work with Killing Fiend, but okay. Still getting through for damage. Land? Land would be nice. That's not a land. Not very nice at all. Gonna play Kirdape here. And I'm gonna play defensive now. I'm gonna leave both my creatures back to block. I mean, like I said, if we draw a land, I think we are definitely ahead here. We just need to make sure we don't get ran over by them before we draw our second land. Looks like they might be flooding out a little. Only 2 cards in hand. I think I'm gonna block. I mean, I could block this, but they probably have one spell. In which case, maybe I should have attacked. But I guess if they had a lightning bolt, I don't want them to bolt one of our creature, and then we can't block because we attacked with one. This is gonna be pretty good. Is this lethal? I have double strike. So this is 14 minus 3. Oh, it looks like exactly lethal. Well, that's unfortunate. We could have blocked with more creatures, I suppose, to not die there, but they have first strike, right? So it wouldn't have even traded. We would have just lost both our creatures to go to 2. But that is better than dying. Usually against aggro decks, Rancors and Gorklans are not very good. So I'm going to bring in Helixes, Path to Exile. I'm thinking about Thalia. Good against Killing Fiend. I think I'm going to take out some Flint of Force for Thalia's. Because they slow down them doing their Temur Battle Rage shenanigans, and it also just is a good blocker. Looks like our opponent's taking a while to sideboard. Might not be quite sure what we're playing, but I think we revealed enough for them to understand that it's a zoo deck. Experiment 1 usually is a tip-off that we're not playing like a burn deck. Like nowadays burn decks, they play things like Wow in the Coddle. But Crit Ape and Experiment 1 should tell them otherwise. I think the thing with that deck is they're very reliant on their 1 or 2 creatures to get through a lot of damage, and siding into removal is very useful at just trying to make sure their board is clear of creatures. And on average, I think our creatures are a bit better than theirs. I'm going to keep this hand. Pretty good. 3 lands is fine, Probably 2 to 3 lands is what you want to start with. And hopefully not draw any more past 3. Being on the play. I'm going to leave with Wow in the Coddle here. And then next turn, Goblin Guide. Reason why is because if we went turn 2, Satyr Hoplite, oh wow. If we went turn 1 Goblin Guide, by turn 2 we would have dealt 4 damage. This way we're also going to deal 4 damage because we'll attack with we'll actually deal 5 damage, but this way we'll attack with the Coddle and a Guide instead of 2, like Guide twice, meaning that we give them one less chance to draw a land off the trigger. I'm actually not even going to play the Guide now because we drew Burning Tree Emissary. In which case I just want to go Burning Tree into Bushwhacker. Not a bad top deck. I didn't want to fetch for a white source there because I don't want to take 3 damage to get 1 more point of damage through. Or I think every point's going to matter if they're going to be going for a Temur Battle Rage. They could trade with Bushwhacker, but I don't think they want to make that trade. Maybe I'm wrong. And, now they're down to 12. Next turn we can Atarka's Command. Grow it even bigger. I think, Target's Command's worth 6 damage here, plus 6 on board. That's actually lethal next turn if they don't block. They upkeeps Titan Strength because they were wanting to scry before they drew, so they're probably looking for a land. But we'll see if they just decide not to block. It's actually worth more damage because we have Goblin Guide into Atarka's Command. Even a Lightning Bolt actually doesn't stop them from dying now. There's a Killing Fiend. So they're gonna fetch. I'll see what they do. Gonna get a Mountain. Probably Bolt. Not doing anything. Oh. I skipped through the damage step. I thought I had another stop point to use my command, but they are a 3, so the target command dealing 3 damage will be enough to kill them anyways. Let's see if they do anything on the end phase. I'm just going to bolt them now. I don't really want to let them untap and have something. I was planning to fetch before damage was dealt, get a white source, and that would be a super overkill. But I still don't think they can have anything here. Yeah. The target command would have been worth 7 damage plus 1 more damage from having a plains. They would have been dead by 5 damage there, 5 over. I wonder if I probably want Unlife. I forgot to side that in. I think we do want that. Maybe on the draw values are worse. I almost want to bring in Electricity if they're going to have that one drop, but I'll just bring in a Boar. It's a 3/3 blocker. Or attacker. But one thing that's nice is that a lot of these creatures are fine at blocking. They're not just only good at attacking. Just good bodies. That's fine. Probably I'm just going to go Sacred Foundry into Crit Ape. It's a 1/1 on turn 1, but I don't think the difference between 1 toughness and 3 toughness will really matter. Charging Badger. Well, quite the shenanigans our opponent is probably trying to do with that Charging Badger. I'm a little bit afraid. I think I'm just going to attack here. Mutagenic growth to kill my Goblin Guide. I think I'm okay with that. I think their damage is usually worth more done to us than to trade with creatures. Like that's 4 damage they missed if they went something like Battle Rage with that. Okay, Burning Tree is nice. Just being able to play, 5 mana worth of spells this turn is always great. Just gonna bolt the Killing Fiend. That's the most threatening card out of the gate. They have more creatures, but maybe they don't have the pump spells or ways to grow them big enough right now. Tarkus Command. That's not a bad one. I think our plan is going to be to attack with both. They probably aren't blocking, but who knows. Yeah, that's fine. Go to 13. I'm going to play Crit Ape. I'm kind of hinging on the fact that they can't do too much damage right now. Like, that their hand isn't very strong. Like, the 2 cards I'm worried about them having is Battle Rage plus Become Immense. I think that's the 2 cards that can get us here. But anything else, I don't think will kill us. Even Become Immense by itself isn't lethal. It's kind of awkward that I fetch for a basic force instead of a Stomping Ground, so I can't play an additional spell this turn, but I feel like life totals are important here. But honestly, cannot say I've played against these style decks too much. So maybe they're just not too important because they're gonna overkill us. Another path. So if I attack and they don't block, that's lethal. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Forces them to block. If they do block, then I don't need to use the command. I can just leave a path. If they don't, then I can go for lethal here. And it's only not lethal if their last card is a bolt, in which case they're not killing us the following turn. There we go. Win the match 2-0. Lost the first 2 in the league. Were rough ones, but we lost to Affinity and then we lost to a burn deck. But won that one, and we'll go to the next game.